A caltrop is an area denial weapon designed to stop the enemy. The caltrop is a sturdy, simple, yet effective weapon no matter its position. Its purpose was originally designed to stop elephant and donkey attacks. It graduated to stopping tanks. And now, the caltrop is your defense against propaganda, polished lies, and manufactured outrage. It's free from counterfeit credibility and synthetic truth. However, inside the walls of the caltrop, you're going to be forced to think. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mike Calderese is the caltrop.
Coming down the mountain from the heaven to the hell, the Mike Calderese, the caltrop, he never stops, so ring the bell. He bring the facts, he's been up every morning till we sleep. He get it deep, Mike Calderese, in your head and in your sheets. And we don't mind and we don't care, Mike Calderese is the caltrop. And we don't mind and we don't care, Mike Calderese is the caltrop. And we don't mind and we don't care, Mike Calderese is the caltrop.
Good evening and welcome to the Caltrop. I'm your host, Michael Calderese. And if you know anything about the Caltrop, we are your defense mechanism. And sometimes, sometimes being your defense mechanism, guys, I have to talk about topics that are not easy to talk about, that are very, very, very divisive topics, that are ones to get people to turn the channel. There's some things that people don't want to talk about in this world. And all those topics are the topics that I honestly, I think I want to take on because they have to be talked about. And one of the main issues that I see that's happening in this world is something I'm calling abortion culture. And I'm sure I'm not the only person to talk about it. But it doesn't just, I want you to give it some time to breathe in your brain before you turn me off, because I'm not going to be talking about pro-life or pro-choice or any of that stuff. What I'm going to be talking about is life in general. And that's what the Mike's right, shut the fuck up and listen is going to be about. But something, I'm going to tune it up like this. I think we've lost the meaning of life or give a fuck about human life anymore. And I think it's starting to manifest itself in a bunch of different ways. We had this situation where a woman killed some kids. We're going to be talking about that today. And women are supporting her. Somehow's making over $1 million in support. The mental gymnastics, I think I want to work through with you because I want your opinion on this, because I'm struggling to understand all of this both sides of this argument. It's getting very, very, very. Humanity has entered a very dark place, I think, and I'm gonna need your comments during this one because it's honestly bothering me. But we have a lot of different topics. We have bags and bags and bags of dicks in Jackson. It's not good. I mean, we're talking gummy dicks all over the place. We do have a story about that in Jackson. It is threatening messages, threatening comments, very weird, creepy things going on in Jackson. So we're going to be talking about that. We have mini Bigfoot. I said that properly. We have mini Bigfoot. We have mass visas being rejected. A lot of it. Cancer, drugs, a player shot. Dolly Parton has died, man. You forget how this is going to sound weird, okay? But I'm a weirdo. I'm going to preface that with saying I'm a weirdo right off the bat. But they're playing the clips of Dolly Parton as a young woman. And you forget how beautiful she was, because she was, the only Dolly Parton I had in my head was the older Dolly Parton my entire life, because she's 80. I only remember her post 40 Dolly Parton, but just the legacy and how long she's been singing. And then she has something for the future planned, which is really cool. But we have, weaponized viruses and teachers, another teacher arrested for banging kids. This is a pandemic, everybody. This is a pandemic of hot teachers sleeping with kids. We're going to talk about that, but let's waste no more time. Now, the monologue is longer than I usually go because I really mean this shit. And I went, I started late this time specifically because I was still putting this monologue together. This monologue, to me, it's one of the things I hope I'm not right with what I'm saying. This is the only monologue I'm ever going to give you that I hope I'm not right about what I'm seeing in society, but I think I am. So let's waste no more time and get right to it. The mic's right. Shut the fuck up and listen to this one. It's about life. All right, there's some topics that you talk about because they're easy, and there's a lot that are easy for me. And there's some topics that you talk about because they're funny, and there's a lot that are funny for me. And then there's some topics where you sit down, you take a deep breath and say, okay, tonight I'm going to piss some people off. So let's do it because it's what Calories does. Welcome, everybody, to The Uncomfortable. Because tonight I'm going to talk about something that I alluded to earlier, which is abortion culture. And before everybody loses their damn minds, no, this is not an abortion debate. If you want to have it in the chat, fine. And I'm not telling you whether you should be pro-life or pro-choice. I'm not here to debate Roe versus Wade. I'm not here to tell women what to do or not do with their bodies. I'm here to talk about something much bigger than that, honestly. And I'm talking about what happens when when human life itself starts to lose value in a society. And I think we're watching it happen right in front of us. Look at the Lindsay Clancy case. For anyone who hasn't been following it, Lindsay Clancy is accused of killing her 3 children in 2023. She straight strangled them, one running away as she did it. Her defense admits she did it. The argument is whether she was criminally responsible because of severe mental illness, including postpartum psychosis. And let me make something absolutely clear. I'm not going to demean postpartum psychosis. I'm not going to pretend postpartum mental illness isn't real. It is. It can be devastating. It can be dangerous. And women who experience it deserve treatment, support, and compassion. Period. I have to say that because you have to have the fucking disclaimer in today's world. But here's where I'm going to get uncomfortable. Look at the reaction to this case. Hundreds, thousands of people, mostly women, showing up outside courthouses, wearing pink, holding hands, and expressing support for Lindsay. There's a massive amount of sympathy for the woman accused of killing her children. And I understand the argument, I guess. I could have been her, quotes. And I know what postpartum feels like. I know what mental illness feels like. I believe women need better support. I get those arguments that some of these women are making. Fine. I understand it. Let's say I understand. Let's move past that. But can we ask one question without everybody immediately screaming? Where the fuck is the same level of outrage and compassion for the children killed? Because 3 children died. 3. And somehow we've created a culture where circumstances surrounding the person who committed the act can be so overwhelming that the victims almost disappear from the conversation. And that's where I start wondering, when did protecting the feelings of the person who did something become more important than remembering the people who suffered from it? Because this isn't just Lindsay Clancy. This is a pattern. And somewhere out there, Casey Anthony is probably sitting somewhere thinking, wait a minute, where the hell was all the support when it was my turn, when I killed my kids? Sorry, I had to. But that's the uncomfortable question. Why do we increasingly judge morality based on who we are rather than what happened? We've created categories. Your life matters if you belong to the right group. Your life matters if you have the right policies. Your life matters if you have the right religion. Or your life matters if you were born, but your life doesn't matter if you're unborn. Your life matters if you're innocent, unless we can convince ourselves that you're the bad guy. Life becomes negotiable suddenly. And I'm going to take this even further, because I think this goes beyond just abortion. I think abortion culture is part of something much bigger. It's a throwaway culture. We throw everything away anymore, especially in America. Marriage gets difficult, throw it away, get a divorce. Your spouse isn't making you happy every second of every day. Well, fucking throw it away. Your refrigerator lasts 5 years, throw it away. Your phone is 2 years old, throw it away, get a new one. Your relationship gets uncomfortable, fuck it, throw it away. There's always going to be something better out there, right? And your political opponent says something you hate. Well, apparently, then you're a Nazi. And you know what Nazis deserve? Whatever happens to them, that's what they get. But do you see the pattern here, everyone? We stopped asking, what is this worth? And we've started asking, is this useful to me? And that's a very dangerous place for human beings to live. Because eventually, that philosophy gets applied to people. And we've already seen it. Throughout history, human beings have been dehumanized because of race, religion, nationality, politics, class, ideology. And every single time the justification starts with the basic idea of those people aren't like us. Say it differently. Those humans aren't like us. And that, to me, is how barbarism begins. Not with somebody waking up one morning saying, today I'm going to become a monster. It starts much smaller. First, you convince yourself that someone else or something else or cells have less value than you. Then you convince yourself that they deserve less. Then you convince yourself that just hurting them is justified. And eventually, you don't even see the human being anymore. You see the category. Republicans, Democrat, Christians, Jews, Muslims. Fuck the Muslims. You got to hate the Muslims, because everyone, you just have to hate them because they hate you and they want to kill you. Sorry, I went off on Muslim. Illegal immigrant, abortion supporter, abortion opponent, left, right, black, white. Whatever label makes it easier to stop seeing the person underneath it. And here's my problem. We keep pretending that this is making us more civilized. It is not. It's making us more tribal and more toxically tribal. I say that a lot. It's making us more angry, more disposable, more willing to celebrate destruction when the person being destroyed belongs to the wrong category. And somewhere along the way, we lost the meaning of life. So let's go back to something incredibly basic, everybody. What is life? Biologically, life is a state of matter that uses energy, maintains itself, grows, and responds to its environment and reproduces. You can argue the philosophical definition or the legal definition or the theological definition, but one thing is undeniable. Life is something, and human life isn't just biological activity. It's a person. It's a consciousness, a family, a future, a story that perhaps hasn't been written yet. A child who hasn't even gotten to become an adult. A person who hasn't met their spouse. A person who hasn't met their first child. A person who hasn't screwed up yet. A person who hasn't succeeded yet. A person who hadn't made you proud. A person who hasn't pissed you off. A person who hasn't even had the opportunity to become anything yet. And we are becoming increasingly comfortable with deciding that some of those lives don't count. And that's the part that scares the hell out of me. Because when you normalize the idea that life can be eliminated because of circumstances aren't right, or because the person isn't right, or because the ideology isn't right, you don't just change a law, you change a culture. And culture eventually changes morality. And morality eventually determines what people are willing to do to each other. Look at how casually people talk about political violence now. Look at how casually people wish death upon people who disagree with them. Look how quickly people celebrate when somebody they hate gets destroyed. We've reached a point where some people would probably save a cat before they would save a human being that they politically despise. Now, I'm not saying cats aren't awesome. Actually, no, fuck cats. But if your moral framework has reached a point where a human's life has less value than an animal simply because you don't like the human being, then we have a problem. And here's where I want to be very clear, like Obama. This isn't about women. Men are a part of this culture too. Men kill, men dehumanize, men celebrate violence, men abandon families, men contribute to the disposable society just as much as anybody else does. This isn't about blaming women or men Well, I mean, it's kind of actually the opposite of blaming women, because women have traditionally been some of the greatest protectors of life in our society. Mothers are supposed to nurture, protect, sacrifice. Mothers teach children empathy. So when we reach a point where even the most nurturing members of our society are publicly rallying around a woman accused of killing her own children, I don't think the answer is to attack those women. I think the answer is to ask, what happened to us? What happened to our moral compass? What happened to the idea that some things are simply fucking wrong? What happened to the idea that every human life has inherent value? What happens when the most important, or what happens when the most dangerous place for a child becomes the mother's womb? I don't know, guys. I mean, we could say she was suffering. We could say she needed help. We could say that maybe the system failed her. We could say postpartum psychosis deserves more attention. All of those things can be true. And we could still say those children fucking mattered. Both things could exist at the exact same time, yet everybody has to take one side or the other. And that's where I think our society is failing. We keep forcing everything into teams, like I say often. Good person, bad person, victim, perpetrator, pro-life, pro-choice. Look how many different ways you could go. Left, right. It's always that. Black, white, it's always that. And once somebody gets assigned the correct label, we stop thinking. We stop questioning. We stop seeing human beings. We see categories. And categories don't have souls. People do. So maybe it's time to stop asking which lives are valuable and start asking, why did we ever decide lives weren't? Because if life has no inherent value, then eventually none of us are safe. Not the unborn, not the elderly or disabled, not the sick, certainly not the religious, because they've been killing each other forever. Not the political minorities, not the political majorities, not the person who believes differently, not even you. Because once you establish that human value depends on circumstances, usefulness, ideology, convenience, or popularity, that seems to be the fad, that somebody eventually gets to decide who the fuck qualifies. And history has already shown us where this road leads. And to me, we don't need more hatred, even though I'm accused of spreading it. We don't need more dehumanization. We don't need another political tribe convincing itself that the other tribe deserves to disappear. We need something much simpler. We need to rediscover the idea that life means something. Not just because you're Republican, Democrat, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, I could rattle them all off again, but because you're fucking human. That is the standard. And if we get back to that, and if we don't get back to that, then don't be surprised when we keep asking why there's so much fucking killing. Because maybe the problem isn't that we suddenly become more violent. Maybe the problem is that we spent decades teaching ourselves that some lives aren't worth protecting. And some are. And eventually, people start believing it. That's not civilization. That's barbarism with better technology. And I think it's time we start talking about it, even if it's uncomfortable, especially really if it's uncomfortable. Because life has to mean something, or eventually nothing does. Mr. Mike's right. I hope you listened. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a tough topic. I wanted to hit it. I wanted to hit it hard. I wanted to give you everything that I thought. I'm going to touch a couple videos on that, and I'm going to move on. I'm going to get to your comments as well. I would love to know your thoughts on the Lindsay Clancy case. If you are someone that's a supporter of her, let's play. I have a video for this. These are a couple things that do creep me out. Okay, this creeps me out. The girl's fucking giddy. The girl's giddy being in the stands like, oh my God, I'm going to see Lindsay. I have to see Lindsay. I don't understand the ideology. I don't understand the mindset of this. I really don't. But then here's a guy asking Lindsay Clancy supporters their thoughts. And let's discuss this, and then we're going to move on.
The people that are upset and believe that she killed her 3 children and she should be convicted, what would be your message to them?
I'm so grateful for you that you never experienced even remotely what women experience in postpartum.
Yeah, and admittedly, she did admit to killing them, but the woman you see now is completely different from the woman who did that to her kids. And I think it's really difficult for people to hold two truths that may seem opposite simultaneously. She can be a wonderful, loving mother, and she did this horrible thing that she was so sick. I mean, I've seen the testimony every day. I can see how devastated she is, and I believe her. I believe her.
So it's hard to wrap my brain around that last woman say, like what the last woman said. She can be a loving mother and chase her kid down a hallway and strangle him. That's what they said. Like I don't understand the idea. I don't understand. I do get the idea that you could be sick. If it was this common and it was so common that women wanted to kill their kids after childbirth, I don't know how any of us exist. There's millions of us here, millions and millions and millions. And yes, there's a lot of women that go through the differences, right? And there's two different things, guys, I want to talk about. Because what they were talking about is we're not talking about postpartum depression. This is where I think everybody this is where the argument gets obfuscated. Okay. And this is where I have a problem with these women because they're being led around and I don't understand. Like I said, I don't understand the concept here on the left. Postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis are two totally different things. Okay. Postpartum depression is this. It's a serious mood disorder that causes long-lasting sadness, anxiety, exhaustion after childbirth. Okay. Symptoms: persistent sadness, emptiness, extreme tiredness or fatigue, changes in sleep and eating habits, trouble bonding with the baby, feelings of guilt or worthlessness. Doesn't say anywhere where postpartum depression says wants to kill your kids. Doesn't say that. It says tired and depressed. And I get that. That happens to a lot of women. A lot of women. A lot of women go through it. There's hormones that are ripping around a woman. I just watched mine being born, and I just saw a baby being born with my niece. When you see life, I don't know if you get a different take on life in general, but I just watched this happen. I watched the women go through it, and she's going to go through it as well, my niece. I get it. But then there's postpartum psychosis. Postpartum psychosis is a dangerous psychiatric emergency that causes extreme changes in behavior and thinking. Usually starts in the first two weeks after birth. Now, you can cause hallucinations, delusions, severe confusion and disorientation, rapid mood swings, manic behavior, extreme lack of sleep, insomnia. Now, I don't know if this is all the stuff that she was going through. The craziest part about what I'm understanding about this case is the prosecution has to claim that she's not crazy. Okay. They have to claim that she's not crazy, that she just was a mother that killed her kids, and she's not someone that was going through postpartum psychosis. Now, if you take postpartum psychosis and you try to wrap it with that one lady said, where she could be a good, loving mother and then still go and kill all of her kids. I guess if you did have a postpartum psychotic episode, that's true. I think, but one would think that if it was so rare, you would already be predisposed in some way to have psychotic episodes. I bet somewhere down the road, she had some type of mental disability to begin with. Right? So I don't understand why all of these things, psychosis is extremely rare, and now you're taking that psychosis and you're transferring that onto depression. And now what does it do? What does it do? It says, okay, well, if you're depressed, we're gonna sympathize with you if you go off and kill all your kids. Now it's not just depression. Now it's psychosis. These are the baby steps towards insanity that I was talking about in the mics. Right? It's you're baby stepping your way into fucking absolute insanity. We're gonna play one more, and then I'll get to the comments, and then we'll get to the rapid fire news. I have a lot of news. We're gonna go through it. This was the main topic of tonight, but we have one more. We have one more, and this is the doctor. Okay, this is Dr. Gregory Sathoff. The prosecution rested, and they had this doctor who his credentials tried to be questioned with, have you ever had a one of these cases? And the guy said yes back in the 80s and 90s. So it went back and forth. But this is Dr. Gregory Sathoff just getting questioned on her mental state.
Doctor, did you form an opinion to a reasonable degree of medical certainty as to whether Lindsay Clancy on January 24th, 2023, when she strangled her children, was criminally responsible?
Yes.
And what is that opinion?
Yes. It is my opinion within a reasonable degree of medical certainty that Ms. Clancy was criminally responsible.
If you kill somebody, you're criminal, or you should be criminally responsible. I don't even care if you're crazy. Crazy means nothing to me. If you go crazy and kill somebody, that crazy's obviously in you. It's right there. It came out. It already killed somebody. It already did it. The crazy's right there. So who's to tell when it's going to come back again? You are criminally responsible if your person went crazy and killed people. You see, this is the part that, like, our legal system gets so fucking weird sometimes. And I get it, like, oh, they went insane, so they don't belong in this jail. They belong in some mental institution. I don't know. I don't know. I'm a much more harsh guy. I'm not even gonna get into what I think you should do to murderers, but what are you gonna do? Let's get to some comments right here. Laura says, Mike, hey, Howell Township in the house. Howell Township, I love it, Laura. I love seeing Laura in the chat, man. Melissa says, hey, everybody. Justin Delaney says, accused and admitted to it. Yeah, she accused and admitted to it. It's unbelievable. Queen Melly says, man, oh, man, this is what happens when you get touchy with some touchy topics. You got to love it. My mom, hey, Mom, how are you? My mom is, when you talk about wonderful mothers, I can tell you this right now. She would not only not kill me, she would fight to the death anybody that came near me. That I know from a college experience when I got tackled from behind by a buddy of mine and pig piled on, and my mom went to beating people with Italian bread. And you know how Italian mothers do that shit? They could somehow whip the bread, and the bread could bend and snap back without breaking somehow. And just, yeah, it's really good. She beat the hell out of them until they left. That's what great mothers do. Queen says, ready, agree. 3 children died. I've been fully following the case, but wasn't she drugged by the boyfriend? If that were the case, then she did not do it, and the person who drugged her is responsible. I did not hear where she was drugged. I saw that. If you could show me, if you could send me something like that. I didn't see that put in the case. I saw it. I heard something about it online, but I didn't see that as far as in the case goes. Chris says, so very true. Jerry says, always someone else's fault. Where was the dad or all the people that knew she had problems? So this is the thing that I heard here on this. Ready? And this was the thing that I found very interesting. Where was it? Man, where? I don't know if I have this. So at one point she said, fuck, I completely lost my train of thought. Looking for this here. Where were we? Who was it? Always someone else. Where was the dad? Okay. At some point it said that, do I have that Fox News one? It should be Fox News. I do not have the Fox News video. I guess it did not come across. So Fox News played something, and it said that she sent her husband out to run errands. When she sent her husband out to run errands, a male voice told her to kill her kids. And then she listened to the male voice. But what the prosecution was arguing was that she knew that she was going to kill the kids because she sent the husband out to run errands. And while that happened, she moved swiftly to do so, even chased one down the hallway. So that's what the prosecution was arguing as far as that's concerned. Pam says, let's see. For sure, people stop being friends over political view. No excuse. So much help out there. You know, it's crazy that people, they take politics and it trumps everything. Isn't that just fucking insane? Yo, bro, how's your shoulder? Shoulder? Listen, I gotta tell you something. Still a little bit in pain. I played cornhole, Johnny, about 21 feet on Saturday. Was able to control the bag. I don't know how I would do because it still hurt. I still don't know how I would do at 27 feet. Johnny Goldstein is my partner, and we had to not play in the finals. And if I can't play, basically he can't play. So we had to give up our shot at winning because I ran into a truck. Kyra says she was married and all her drugs were prescribed for mental health and postpartum issue. So that's what I thought, Kyra. That's what I thought. I thought she was getting help. I thought she had a nanny. I think the husband got her a nanny. This is a woman that had all those things and then still do those things. Mike, you are right. Danielle, I love it. New name. I love when you guys comment. Really appreciate you guys. Queen Molly, or Queen Melee. I think people get so caught up with left and right that they don't see right and wrong. Yeah, well, you know what it is? I think, you know what the problem with the Queen Millie is, like, right and wrong, we thought would be basic, like basic understanding. Like, killing kids is wrong, right? We all think it's wrong. But now we've gotten to the point where it's like, but is it wrong? Because in this situation, it's kind of right, But, so when you have subjective things, this is why I always say, like, what is good? What is bad? What is right? What is wrong? It's philosophical. But what are those things fundamentally? Can you operationally define what right is and what wrong is? You can't do it because it's subjective. To a cannibal, eating your left ass cheek is right as a motherfucker, right? You feel where I'm going? They love that. Some do the whole too. And then the other cannibal's like, you are just fucking nasty. And he's like, bro, you're not right unless you're eating the whole. Can you imagine that conversation? But I say that stupid shit because right to them is totally wrong to us. But it doesn't matter because it's all subjective. This is why it's so tough. This is why you have people it's very right to a lot of people that, I wouldn't say what this woman did, but right and wrong's fucking crazy, man. Justin in New Jersey. So if you're having a bad day and rob a bank and kill a bank teller, but today you're doing better, it's all okay. We forget what happened. If I just had a baby, you know what's interesting? They're like, men can't claim that shit, right? If anybody would want to kill a motherfucker after having a baby, it's the man. All of a sudden, their whole life has to change. They now have like 2 mouths to feed and shit. They're screaming all the time, and you have your wife bitching at you. You don't get laid for like a year and a half after the baby's born. And every time you do it, you can't even make any noise. You kind of have to like fucking blow loads, like, everyone married knows what the fuck I'm talking about, and that lasts 18 years. So I put together 36 years in a row of that shit. Well, I'm looking into the future. But you know what I'm saying? And if you like that joke, go ahead and finger blast my like button because you're going to love fingering if you if you like that joke. Kathy says this woman needs a mental hospital. You're not bullshitting, Kathy. Teresa, I love when Teresa chimes in. When support becomes so centered on the mother that the 3 children she killed seem almost incidental, something has gone terribly wrong. I completely agree with you, and that's the point that I'm trying to make, right? It's like, and I think this is why I call it abortion culture, because we've forgotten about the kids. Like a lot of times, that's the part that drives me crazy about politics in general. It's like we say for the children. Everything we do is for the children. But then fuck the kids sometimes. The kids don't matter. It doesn't matter at all. They could go scratch if they're in the wrong position. What are you going to do? Kyra, although a mental institution any better than regular jail sounds worse to me. I don't know, man. I don't know. Mary Lou says certain forces have created a culture where life isn't valued. Besides abortion, look at euthanasia. Euthanasia policies cropping up. Euthanasia. I'm a little bit different on euthanasia. I think killing yourself for the sake of killing yourself is one thing. If I was with a real bad terminal disease, I think I would want to figure out how to go out my way. And I don't know if my way would probably just be jump out of a plane with no parachute type shit. I don't know. I think that would be the way I would go out, like epic. and instant, but I don't know if I would want to like go wither away and like that. So I do get euthanasia a little bit, but I do get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying, Mary Lou, 100%. And Kathy thought I was funny. I love it. My mom laughs at everything I said. And see, I told you, great mom right there. She laughed at a dirty joke. That's why AI is such an enormous threat going forward. Whose moral compass will be guiding that tech going forward? Yes, chubby guy with a weed whacker. Dude, that's a sexy ass comment, bro. I could picture you right now, chubby, with like a bead around with your belly kind of sticking out, beer in your hand, and you're still fucking weed whacking. That's awesome. But you're right, man. Whose moral compass do they have? Or do they have a moral compass? Because if you're looking at things like a computer would, there's a lot of people that could be eliminated. Do you think like Ultron type stuff is real? I do. That movie is kind of real. Right? Thanos and stuff, like all those things, they do kind of make sense if you were just a computer, like a computer looking at humanity. What's the best for humanity? We'll kill half the motherfuckers. That would be the best thing you do for them. Like that's, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of the bad. Then you start looking, we could break down genetics. What if AI is able to take a prick from you and they go, no, your genetics are bad, and go, well, you don't deserve to live? What if we have Gattaca type situations, where you have preferred genetically spliced humans over non-preferred genetically non-spliced, and then your DNA is bad? When do we get to that point? You could be incredibly talented, but no, you're not. Your DNA isn't here. So now, guess what? Your DNA isn't good with it. You don't get that chick because she got better DNA than you. What if it is Gattaca? She's taking a piece of your hair and testing your DNA in the future. If it seemed crazy in 1984, today it's like, dude, that's right around the corner. That's right there. I bet we've already have genetically modified humans right now running around. I think they're playing sports or fighting in the UFC. I don't know. Last couple of comments on this. Howie, I have watched much of the trial, and yes, it should be justice for the children, but I've listened to a lot of what was presented, and I'm not fully convinced beyond reasonable doubt that it wasn't possible it was the husband. Okay. Now, listen, if the husband drugged her, I think they would be making a different argument overall than postpartum psychosis, unless he was giving her more. Like, was she being really crazy and he was like double dosing her, which made her have a crazy reaction to it? If that's the case, then I get it, Holly. These are the circumstances. I have not heard that part of it. And full disclosure, I have not listened to all the trial. I have listened to a lot of the highlights, and I have listened to some of the trial at work, but it's tough. It was tough when I ran into 8 inches worth of concrete today, and I thought I was going to be dealing with 5. That was really fun. It became tough to listen to a lot of the stuff with the machine and everything going. So what are you going to do? Amen Disker says, hey, what's up? Amen Disker, I missed you. You're my favorite name to say, period. Mike, what up, brother? Been busy this summer, but I'm watching you do good things in Ocean County. Chief Queef, I appreciate you, man. Really appreciate you. And Amen Disker says, I'm late. I missed the whole show. Just here to be annoying. I love it. Be annoying. Okay, here we go. Oh, my God, it wasn't her husband. Oh, my God, it wasn't her husband, she says. Bingo. And let's be real. It has become normal to kill your children. How many abortions happen every year? Life's become worthless to many. Hell, Democrats want abortion up to birth are listen, I say that too. Like, I get it. Life is devalued, but life is devalued by people on all sides. I hear people saying, oh, yeah, the kids over there in Palestine deserve to get bombed. This is many people on the right deserve to get bombed because they're little terrorist-ass kids. We don't give a shit on either side of it. It's just, what kid do we give a fuck about? And that's it. Let's see. Mama Mana Mitchell says the forensic evidence when looked at accurately points directly at the husband. Why are men never responsible? Her DNA was not on anything. He had control over her meds. And I am sorry, brown pupils. He did it. By the way, I love you. Okay, that's interesting. If so, we think he did it. Why is he not on trial? If the evidence pointed to him, I would listen. You know what? I like to touch on something you said, Mama Nana. No, men are crazy as hell. And when you take, like, women are crazy and men are crazy. But if you take the top 100 craziest motherfuckers that are out there, Men are going to be up there. They're going to be in the top of the crazy. All 100 are going to be the crazy men. Men are certainly behind this. Men could certainly do this. Is it possible that he drugged her, did that, and then blamed it on her? Yeah, I think you would hope that the prosecution and the cops could do some work on that and expose that, or that guy's just a brilliant mastermind. I don't know. Interesting. I love both perspectives. That's what I asked for. There are conspiracies. The husband killed them, and she was so drugged up she didn't know what happened. Yeah, okay. Listen, there's conspiracies on all sides, and you guys know me. Conspiracies have been more right than wrong out of lately. And Amen Disker says touch DNA is very sensitive. It doesn't work all the time. It's very common. Leave Patrick alone. Like people who think this were actually not smart. Listen, man, it's the truth is I wish the media did a better job, because it really does depend on who you listen to, on what kind of spin and what kind of story they're going to tell you. Because it's like, you have media that will just give you the facts of the case, and then they're going to have media that want to sensationalize it for a certain group of people and others. And I think that was that was a problem. And Holly, last comment on this, she says she was prescribed 13 different psychiatric medications, which was found in his car. Her body core temperature was 82 degrees, which is a lot longer than minutes. Her body. I don't understand what you mean about that. I mean, listen, if you're a man, if I had a woman that was like that, I would probably have her medication in my car as well. Let's just put it that way. The fact that she had that many medications, they're saying she wasn't properly treated. So that would say she was improperly treated, but it didn't sound like they were saying that she was getting too many medications. They were making it sound like she didn't have any. So a lot of this stuff is going contrary to a lot of the stories and a lot of the narratives that the media is trying to portray. But listen, if you were given 13 different medications, then I think some doctors have to be held accountable for this shit. Like this is the stuff that if she had, let's just say she did have serious postpartum depression. Let's just say this. And let's say that doctors were giving her 13 different medications and it kicked it up to postpartum psychosis. Is that her fault, or could the doctors have some type of culpability with this? Could the drug makers? I don't know, man. I think that's a very interesting question. I think that's a very interesting question. Of course, this is all speculation, but I mean, what are you going to do? And listen, let's move on from that, because we can. I could go back and forth. I could read the questions all night. But the problem is I don't like speculating on some of these issues. So let's go. We'll go. I'll go right down the line here. Right? Have you guys? I alluded to this a little bit before, but we're going to get into a little bit more. The beef deal says today I concluded that a deal to substantially lower the price of beef for American families. As everybody knows, under President Biden, beef prices soared at their fastest rate in American. As we work to rebuild this herd and help our ranchers for the next 90 days, the United States will allow up to 300,000 metric tons of product for ground beef to be imported with no added quota tariff. We have a commitment that this beef will be sold at 25% below current market price. This deal will reduce prices for Americans while giving the space for our great American beef herd to grow again. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay. So I think we're going to be hurting the farmers in the short run, it sounds like, by allowing these price controls. But this is price controls. If you really think about it, this is President Trump coming in saying, we're going to bring in this beef and we're going to keep it at this low price. And this is a Democrat move. So, everyone on the right's going to be celebrating this. And I want you guys to understand something, that when you celebrate this move from him, you really are celebrating price controls, something that you were really fighting against with Mamdani and all that shit in New York. So we have to be consistent here with what we're doing. All right. Now, if we need to get our beef herd up, I think we have to identify what caused the shortage in the first place. He wants to blame Biden. I don't think it was all Biden. Okay. It's a lot of different policies and a lot of different, we have large people buying out farms. We have a lot of policies like Trump right now. How do you think $6 diesel is affecting farms? It's crushing them. So a lot of your policies, the Iran policies, that is what it has affected our beef prices as well. You know how much it costs to transport heavyweight? You need cheap fuel. Cheap fuel comes cheap everything. I thought he understood that, but I guess he doesn't. We have Abbeygate, if you remember that. Heroes honored on the 5th anniversary of the Kabul airport attack. So it's funny how everything has a fucking name that Gates attached to it. But I guess we had the anniversary of the anniversary of the attack, the horrible Afghanistan withdrawal, and the brave men and women that responded, the Marines and the people that died. I think it was how many people died? I think it was 13, right? It should be, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 13 people. Let me know if I'm right with that. But 13 service members died. And we should be honoring them every single year. I don't know how, again, so willingly just say, hey, life doesn't matter. Go to war or do these things. It's kind of disgusting. If you didn't know this was going on, Chinese hackers, the U.S. says Chinese hackers broke into the DOJ, NASA, Federal Reserve, Senate. The Justice Department announced it had disrupted a Chinese hacking operation responsible for break-ins at numerous sensitive U.S. federal agencies. Goes on to say, they stopped the break-ins. In the statement, the Justice Department announced that it has seized internet domains used by 2 hacking platforms dubbed QScan and QT Router, which it said were used in a penetration campaign by the Beijing government. Okay? It said, state-sponsored malicious hackers preying on American critical infrastructure will be stopped and prosecuted. We are here to ensure security for American people, and we will use every tool we have to keep that promise. Attorney General Todd Blanche, and when he was saying those things, he had that little politician thumb. We will make sure that we prosecute these people and hold them accountable. Well, the only way to hold China accountable is war, right? Or you try to hack them back. Because what happens, that's a direct attack on our DOJ, our government. How is that any different than a real attack that blows shit up? What if they got sensitive information? What if they were able to manipulate any data or anything in there when they got in? What if they were able to do some of these things? You said that you thwarted it, but many got through, so you thwarted it after the fact. It was multiple attacks on you. And I got to tell you something. I worked for a dude that does IT, right? He does basically like cybersecurity. And he said the people using AI bots to launch cyber attacks, like 5 million a day at these places through AI programs, is getting very, very, very crazy. If you didn't know, moving on, Dan Sullivan had endorsed Dan Sullivan against Dan Sullivan in a key race. And I'm not bullshitting here. Ready? Check this out. U.S. Senate race that can determine the control of the chamber. Alaskans now face an unusual choice. Dan Sullivan or Dan Sullivan. And a third political heavyweight named Dan Sullivan has drawn the line in the sand on who he's going to be voting for. As the OG Dan Sullivan, he urges Alaskans to vote for Senator Daniel S. Sullivan. So that's some funny shit. That's a funny. Can you imagine being Dan Sullivan, having to vote for Dan Sullivan, and it wasn't you? Gotta love this, man. I gotta be honest. It's pretty funny. If you didn't know this, a New Jersey college baseball player was fatally shot by police after mistakenly going to the wrong home. Glenn Bubba Fisher, a 22-year-old New Jersey college baseball player, was fatally shot by police after mistakenly approaching the wrong home following a night out with friends. Now, I'm bringing this up because I want to highlight a difference in things, the way they would be portrayed. I'm going to say it just plainly. The kid was white because the way they did it. I didn't even need to see this kid's picture because of the way it was being reported. Had the kid been a different color and been unarmed and shot by a cop and he'd been black, you 100% would have got a piece of some type of video. Okay? They would have leaked 10 seconds of a video of just the kid getting shot without any other context behind it. Then it would have turned into an entire movement surrounded by a 10-second narrative that someone created for the masses. And then it was pushed out by interest groups in the media. But this kid gets shot. We don't see any body cam video. We say it's being reviewed. Nobody understands what's happening yet. Nobody knows why the kid was killed. Right? You have his family saying that he approached the back door of a home in Pennsylvania carrying only his cell phone in the backpack. The homeowners believe that someone attempted to break into his house. They called 911. The mother said he was texting with a friend at like, what was it, 9:24 or whatever, or 1:24, and by 1:35 or 2:35, whatever it was in the morning, he was killed. We don't know what the kid did. He could have done many things wrong. But it wasn't immediately billed as a crazy racist cop issue. He will never get mentioned in the cops killing unarmed citizens conversation because he didn't fit a particular group. And again, we pick and choose what lives that we actually give a shit about. We pick and choose it. Which ones we're going to make a big deal over. Which ones matter. Remember that? Yeah, we sure do, don't we? Unbelievable. If you didn't know, Dolly Parton definitely died, but she left us a parting gift, everybody. Dolly Parton left a secret song that the world cannot hear until 2046. I think that's awesome. You know, if for someone as big as Dolly Parton to sing a song for the future, you know, I hope I'm alive in 2046 to remember that. And then hopefully I could tie that back to this moment. That would be pretty badass. If you didn't hear this, the FDA has a new cancer drug for deadly cancer for deadly cancer after patient survival rate nearly doubles. All right, the cancer drug is where was it? I'm immensely proud and dedicated to the FDA scientists whose fast, thorough review and relentless commitment made this groundbreaking milestone. The drug itself. Did I read it? Did I read it? Patients taking a Rasonq pill achieved a median survival of 13.2 months, nearly double the chemo group. So the pill seems to work, I guess, make you last a little bit longer. You know, it doesn't obviously doesn't save you, but you know, it can make you last a lot longer. And that the pill doubled chemo. So, you know, any FDA or any progression in cancer research, man, that's a good thing. Anything that can help anybody. I wish we could start coming up with some cures. It seems like we like to treat things. We don't like to cure a lot of things, do we? Immunity crisis. This is Fox News. Pennsylvania has confirmed its first measles-related deaths in 35 years. Both victims were unvaccinated. Lancaster County residents. The state has reported 393 measles cases across 28 counties. And health officials say the MMR vaccine administered over 2 doses provides 97% lifetime protection against the virus. I'm not here to tell you that thing that doesn't, you know, hasn't had positive effects for humanity. I'm not. I am here to tell you that this is how you know that you're being lied to by a lot of these people because they put this big ass shit. Immunity crisis. Immunity crisis. It's unbelievable. But what they don't go on to tell you is anything about this, right? So let's go through there. The Department of Health confirmed 2 measles-associated deaths, the state's first in 35 years in the U.S. Both individuals were unvaccinated, okay? And I'm reading this for a reason. They had no problem with telling you they were unvaccinated, okay? No problem with giving you that select group of tiny little bit of information. Remember, did I tell you that they were unvaccinated? Okay, remember that. Keep that in your mind. They were unvaccinated. Officers explicitly stated that they would not release additional details, including ages, genders, and other identifying information to protect the privacy of the individuals and their families. So how would it say unvaccinated under the age of 10? Let's say that. How would that expose their families? I don't get it. So when I see shit like this, it leads me to believe that it was not children dying. Now, when you get into the conspiracy theorists and you look into this, what they're saying was it was 2 80-year-olds that actually died from the measles. That's what's being out there. I cannot say that that is truth, and I'm not going to tell you that that's truth. But what I will tell you is if it were a 3 and a 5-year-old that were unvaccinated, that 100% would have been brought to your attention. They would not, no media would pass up that juicy gold nugget to scare you. Because remember, these articles, when you look at Fox News, this article, immunity crisis, they're made to scare the shit out of you. They're made to scare the shit out of you. You had articles like this that showed a kid full of measles in referencing this story. They showed a fake, I'm not going to say he's a fake kid, but that's not the kid that died. That's not him. And I go through this stuff to try to show you how the media is manipulating you and lying to you. Now, again, I'm not claiming the measles are good, bad, indifferent. I'm not making any claims about the vaccine, none of it. Although I do have my own thoughts about it. What I'm saying is the way they are portraying this is bullshit. Does it change the story if they are elderly? It certainly does. Because if they were unvaccinated for the measles and they made it to 84 and then died of the measles, I'm pretty sure they didn't just die of the measles. I'm sure, like everybody else who has died of the measles, you are immunocompromised in some way. And that led to your demise. That's what happens to people. That's true with COVID and every other fucking disease. Every other one of them. So the way they are approaching this, guys, is absolutely ridiculous. All right, let's get to the Jackson mayor. Because the Jackson mayor, and sorry, I'm not getting to the comments for right now. I'll hit them up at the very end. But check this out. The Jackson mayor got sent a bag of dicks. I don't know if this was the exact bag of dicks, but it was something to this effect. They were gummy penises. And it was interesting because you had the way it came out, the way it was going to be presented was death threats. She was getting death threats. She was getting, what were they? X-rated or, sexual, I guess you call it X-rated mail, or it was phrased in this way where it seemed very, very, very bad. Now, I'm going to play it all for you guys because, this was Channel 12 News. I'm giving them big ups. Go to their page. Check them out. This is Channel 12 News that are doing this. This was my man, Jim Murdoch. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When I heard, I got a message from Jim asking for Elliot's number. And, when I saw that they wanted Elliot's opinion on the death threats that Jen was getting, my alarm bells ring up like this is kind of a setup. Jim Murdoch in my area, I know to be a pretty unbiased reporter, man. Like he typically doesn't take those stances. A lot of people are pushing him right now to report on the issues that matter. And like, you got to understand, like, this is a reporter dude that answers to people that has to do things that has to like approve of what he's reporting in the first place. So he keeps it down the middle. So he wanted to have both sides on. So this is their full 2-minute, 30-second interview. Okay. And the full thing, I want to play this in its entirety so you can hear what Jim's saying. Ready? Here it is.
Well, politics can get ugly, but the heated race for mayor in Jackson Township now getting the attention of police. This is why current Mayor Jennifer Kuhn says she's received a series of vulgar and threatening voicemails as this campaign heats up. News 12's Jim Murdoch obtained some of those messages and spoke exclusively with her and her opponent, Elliot Shemtov.
I hope you die.
Jackson Mayor Jennifer Kuhn says the vulgar voicemails began about 3 weeks ago.
Take that piece of family of yours, get on the jet, and get the out of America.
Several went to her personal business line and others to her town hall line.
To go and tell you that you want me killed is insane. You don't know me.
I like freedom of speech, you little Nazi.
You get fearful. I mean, it's definitely not normal, I don't think. I think about my nieces that live 11 doors down from me.
Hey, Jennifer, rather than the American people.
Kuhn's political rival, mayoral candidate Elliot Shemtov, heard the voicemails for the first time.
There's no place in politics or even everyday life speaking to people that way. People shouldn't be threatened.
Shemtov says these calls did not come from his supporters.
If these are real voicemails, if these are people that are really that hostile, you don't call somebody and threaten them. You go to the ballot box November 3rd and you vote for the other candidate. That's how you make real change.
Police tell me they are taking these voicemails and threats very seriously. They've beefed up their presence here around Town Hall, especially during council meetings held twice a month inside this very room.
I like freedom of speech, you little Nazi. I like freedom of expression in the First Amendment, you little Nazi. Yeah, check it out.
That's good enough.
Lieutenant Joseph Candido could only get through about 30 seconds before he heard enough.
It is illegal. They are crimes. They fall under the harassment statute, terroristic threats, depending on the wording that's being sent.
You walk among the people you betray, the people you.
Hopefully they'll catch these people and they'll hold them accountable.
I think the voices need to be heard on Election Day. If you want to do something, you vote. That's the way you get your voice heard.
In Jackson, Jim Murdoch, News 12, New Jersey.
So that was the whole report. And I invited Jim on to talk about it. Jim, I think, would be willing to come on if he could. There's there's no way I'd be able to get him while he works for another news department. But there were some alarming things there, right? So let's just talk about a couple things. I know Jim is getting a lot of hate for this, and what's very interesting is if you look at a lot of the comments that are on his page, something that I don't know if anybody's noticing, but I am, is that the mayor has no support. Have you noticed that, Jackson? Mayor Kuhn has no visible support that's out there for her. Now, when we were at the council meetings, the Orthodox community was definitely like clapping like 12-year-old cheerleaders. I've said that before, to anything Mayor Kuhn. So she probably has that hidden Jewish support that they are all going for the establishment. And it's funny because they're running on the platform the same as Chris Pollock and the Fight for Jackson. Basically, they basically just stole their platform. Stopping overdevelopment, stopping data centers and all this other stuff. They basically stole their platform. And it's interesting because that's opposite of what's actually taking place in Jackson. Okay. But when you look at that report and you look at what was said on his pages, it's all negative. And to me, it feels like, and this is said before, and I'm not going to talk about, but it was people that said this behind the scenes, where it feels like an uprising and not an election. This seems like it's an uprising. And I think that's a very good way to classify what's going on in Jackson, New Jersey, because you could feel it when you go into this room. These council meetings are must-see TV. I love Elliot's message. You got to listen to Elliot's message at the last council meeting. I thought it was a great message. Probably one of the best ones that I heard out of him yet. But this is must-see TV, and you could feel the tension in the room. You could feel how palpable it is. You could just sense it. It's unbelievable what's happening there. But again, nobody's supporting this woman. There's no comments in support of. Where are all the people in support of her? There's a couple of her campaign people are making one. They're like the 1% of comments that are out there, but there's nobody defending her. If you look at it just like this, it shouldn't even be close. It should not be close. But it's telling that she's going to get thousands and thousands and thousands of special interest votes. And there's no other ifs, ands, or buts that you could say about it. They are all special interest votes. And when I say special interest, what I mean is there's a group with special needs, And that special need group is going to take the votes as a block and put them behind one candidate. And they are quiet. They are not going to be posting online. That's why she has no support, visible support. But to me, that goes to something like much deeper, is when you have communities that are voting against each other for shit that they're going to get from government. This is why I'm so against any type of socialistic governments, because eventually it becomes the pick and choosing who gets the government. Again, who's worthy of life? Who's worthy of government? Who's worthy of money? Who is worthy? This isn't Thor's hammer type shit, people. We are all worthy of life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. That's what we're worthy of. And this is why, you see this creeping up everywhere, even in your local governments. And listen, the creepy messages, let's get to them really fast. I'll take some questions. I'll take some comments on this. The creepy voicemails, these were reported to us as threatening messages. I heard you should die. I didn't hear I was going to kill you. I didn't hear threats like that. I heard you're a Nazi bitch and all that. And yes, they're creepy. Yes, they're ridiculous. And I get in her situation. Everybody keeps saying you're a woman. Oh, well, she's a woman. You're a man. She doesn't get it. She could be scared. No, not as mayor. This is mayor we're talking about. If we wanted to classify between men and women, I thought that's what we didn't want to do. That's what the feminists have been fighting against forever. No, if we're going to just say, as the mayor, should you be scared of a couple creepy phone calls and a bag of dicks? I don't think you should be, especially over the bag of dicks. That's funny. I've had people telling me stories, and I've had friends it happened to, where they open up the package and it's dick confetti gets popped out of this package. This has happened to people in high-level executive rooms where confetti dicks are just flying all over the air, and it's just micro dicks floating. You ever see the helicopters that come floating down from the trees? You just have fucking pink, purple, pink, and all different colors just floating down of dicks. Should that be enough to get the mayor that frightened? I said this to the last episode. Jackson's facing real problems, people. They're facing real problems. And if the person that's going to be dealing with those real problems in the face of what that person has to deal with those problems in, and they're scared of gummy dicks and some phone calls, you might want to think about who you're voting for. And I'm speaking to that community directly. Now, to me, you're looking at it to me, if I was that community that supports her there, and this is strictly the Orthodox community, you know what I see? I see a very weak woman. And I know the Orthodox community does not seem, especially some of the men that I've run into, to have the highest respect for weak women. And what they do with weak women is completely run over them. That's exactly who they would want, because that's who's going to give them everything that they desire. And it's not everybody in the community, but it's the powerful ones in that community that are going to see weakness in that woman, and they are going to be jamming everything they want down your throat. And she's not going to be there to stop them. Matter of fact, she's going to be there most likely to aid them. Because somehow, some way, when you're in real estate and you do that type of deals, and this is talking about land and real estate, when those two things commingle, I'm not saying anything nefarious is happening. I'm just saying that nefarious acts come from being in nefarious type situations where you are tempted to do stuff. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say about that. Get to a couple comments on Jackson itself. Ready? And I got to tell you something. When you look at the comments on this, what are you doing to me here? When you look at the comments on that, it's crazy. Ready? We'll get to some of these. Please, that part. Please source your source. Lynn, I don't know what source you're talking about, but please tell me what source you would like from me. If there's anything, by the way, guys, that you want to find out, you can always message me and say, hey, Mike, where'd you find this information? Can you find me here, here, here? I will do it for you. I don't have a team that is citing all my sources for me, writing them down, sharing links. I don't have time for that, honestly, but I will direct you to everywhere that I go to for anything. That's the truth. If I identify as a measle with people, stay away from me. I love it. The nervous system remains in flight or fight when you're in fear. 100%. Okay, let's see. Amen Disker says, just like Morty's wife is being stalked. Yeah, being stalked by another woman. That's the real funny part. You know, the problem is when you're the only thing that's being stalked in that situation, Amen Disker, and you know this, the only thing that's being stalked is the illegal activity. The fact that somebody's wife and kids keep popping up where illegal activity is happening, that should raise alarm bells with authorities and stuff. Now, I don't know. Again, I'm not saying anything wrong is happening, but you know, when the two things just happen to be coincidental, I don't know. You know, I may be a small town pizza lawyer, but I do declare it's all perfectly legal. Who remembers that commercial? If you remember that commercial, you're special. I love you. Lynn says, what the fuck is she really worried about those nieces? She just disclosed their location. Do I still live on Earth? Lynn, no, you don't. No, this is again, it appeared that she went right to channel 12 with it. You know, my problem with that video, Lynn, is that what she did was the cop seemed like he was hearing these things for the first time, right? That lieutenant was listening to Jim Murdoch tell him about these things, and he didn't already know about them, right? Jim Murdoch didn't get an officer that already knew about this case, was looking into this case, was trying to find out who made the phone calls or any of that stuff. No. What he got was a lieutenant to talk to him, and he played him the things, and he's like, I heard enough after 30 seconds. Yeah, that could be against the law. Okay, well, was there a police report filed? Can we show the police report? Somebody get me that. Are there cops actively trying to find who sent her those messages? Because if not, then I have to assume some stuff, and I don't want to start assuming things. Is there an active police report, or is there an active police investigation trying to find who sent her these threatening emails or threatening voicemails or whatever you want? Creepy. Let's call them creepy. This is the mayor we're talking about. So is there a police report filed, and is there an active investigation? I think are really, 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 really good questions that I wish somebody would ask somebody. Because this report, what Jim did, that lieutenant he didn't know anything about this. He was hearing it for the first time. So the question again, another question would be, why did Channel 12 News get this before the police? Because that's the way it seemed. I may be wrong with that. Somebody prove me wrong, but that's the way it seemed. Sorry, put that one up. BJ says, did she just say she fears for her nieces and then say that she lived 11 doors down? Yes. Yeah, that's it. So you and Lynn caught that at the exact same time. It was like, wait a second. You know, I think what the mayor needs are some of those other supporters, some of the supporters that support the one lady who killed her kids. Sorry, listen, if you're defending her, I'm just joking around. You obviously can take a joke. You know who the hell I am at this point too. Now let's see. Teresa says, how do we know this wasn't an inside political intentional disturbance meant to play a card? Now, Teresa, this is interesting. I like where your head's at, because if you look at what the mayor of Jackson's actually been doing, she has been playing the cards of the woman card. Really, she's been playing the victim card a lot. She's starting to pull those cards out, and the reason why she's doing those things are, I think, because of what what I've been seeing. Anytime she posts something, anytime that her group, their Facebook page posts something, they get nothing but comments at them, and it's nothing positive for them. There's no positive support there. And then what you have is you have the Democrats, and this is what's interesting again, right? Because they say they're not in cahoots. But the Democrats come out, they are running candidates in this. They get, like 47 people and claim that their page was creating too much traction. They were getting too many nasty comments. So they don't allow comments on their pages. So you have the Democrat Party and the Republican GOP in Jackson acting the exact same way. They have nothing positive going for them in any way, shape, or form. But they're completely relying on you being establishment lackeys that are just going to vote for a letter instead of actual people and real people that matter in your town. It's really fun to watch. And yes, she is absolutely playing the card. Amen Disker says, yes, that's not cool. I'm sorry. You don't call someone, especially a woman, and do that. I don't like her either, but that's uncalled for and pointless. Amen Disker, I completely agree with you. I want it taken seriously, right? I do find that ridiculous. You are calling a woman, and it's clearly a man's voice, and it sounds like it's the same voice. It doesn't sound like it's multiple people. They sound similar. So I'm wondering why it's not being taken serious. And I agree with you. Those voice messages are absolutely not cool. I hope I didn't make it sound like they were cool in any way. If they could trace all this, then trace the Mortimer Waterman's case. Oh man, you guys send me that one. I can't remember what that was about. Hey, Laura 43K says it sounds like the same person, right? It sounds like the same person. And if we're being very honest with each other, I thought it sounded like Chris Pollock at first. I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds way too much like Chris. Like if Chris was talking in like a nefarious voice. It kind of sounded like Chris Pollock. And that's what made me think, like, wait a minute, I know Chris would not be, first off, he's not an idiot. And he's not that person that would do something like that. But the voice definitely sounded Chris Pollock-ish, which makes, again, that's, people think I'm weird when I say this, but my body definitely responds to weird shit. And I get weird feelings. My hair in the back of my neck stands up. Sometimes like I get weird feelings in my body. When things go wrong, I do listen to my body and that type of stuff. When I just hear that on how close it kind of could sound to Chris, I go, wait a minute, there's something weird. Something very weird here. And if there's not a police investigation and that wasn't an AI program, you could do that stuff now where they can alter a voice, they talk into it, they run it back themselves. These are answers that I hope that this doesn't go away. I hope there's an actual investigation into this because you're right, Amen Disker. It is fucking not cool. Not cool at all. It's like an anonymous donor, Lynn says, definitely. And she's a paid shoo-in, isn't killing people, and isn't the president. I love it. Bag of dicks. Hold on. A bag of dicks, no. Creepy men, yes. And you should be 100% creeped out. I'm sorry, Mike. But as a man, you aren't going to get it, and that's okay. I don't get creeped out over a bag of dicks. As a matter of fact, Amen Disker, you could send me a container of vaginas. Like you guys, do you guys forget? Like, Amen Disker, I love you, right? But I get a lot of shit for some of the things I say. I get people telling me I should die all the time. I get the creepiest messages on Facebook. Like I run into a lot of the time about what the mayor's going through. The creepiest thing that I get, honestly, or the people telling me that they're praying for me because I'm going to be killed. I get that every single day, Amen Disker. Like, Mike, you know that you are going to be killed doing this. I am praying for you. I love you. Thank you. And it's like, I get those messages literally on a day-to-day basis, and they creep me out every single time I get them. I appreciate them, and I'm creeped out at the exact same time, right? Because it's like, they're being honest with me, but it is very, very, very creepy. Now, what I'm not doing is running to the cops every time I get a threat. I've had people post my like what's the difference, or these messages where I'll get a Zoom picture of my house. Do I run to the FBI or the cops every time that happens? I get people messaging me my email or my home address. Well, I have a business. That's my address. Like, it's there. I've already doxed myself. What are you doing, doxing me? But I get these messages all the time. Trust me. I do understand it, Amen Disker. I get it. I get it being scared of being a woman. That's not the point. Especially if you're a woman, and I don't know if these are your circumstances, but single women living by yourself, perhaps, and you start getting these things. I have, I don't want to say where they are, but I know single women, and I've parked trucks in front of the house to make it look like somebody else is there, and the whole 9 yards. Like when I had multiple trucks, I get that whole concept. That's I'm not trying to diminish that in any way. I'm just saying, as a political figure, I don't think you get to hide behind the woman thing. I understand it for women. I don't think you get to hide behind that and be scared, because the bottom line here is they try doing this, and this is what she's trying to do. She's trying to parlay this into what happened on Sunday, to correlate the two into making all the questions and all the future hostility and attack against women. That's what I see happening, because she pulled the woman card when that guy approached her by saying, "Hey, he never would have did this to me if I was a woman." He said it on the show that, "No, I've done it to men." I went back and verified that. He is 100% went after men, went after women, went after everybody. I gotta tell you something. When I'm mayor, I have a feeling, I may have him up my ass at some point too. Difference is, I'm going to give you everything. But, she's used that woman card already. With that, before this story came out, she said, "He never would have did this to me, because I'm a woman." And now what she's trying to do is she's trying to tap into the woman sympathy stuff again. And she's trying to say that, "Oh, well, because I'm a woman, now I'm more scared." And, it's just when you start adding these things together, and you start adding in, honestly, like, she has a pattern of doing this, of crying wolf. She did it back with Chris Pollock, back when he approached her about some of the funds and lies being put in a paper and being displayed in the municipal complex. Where she made a series of Boy Who Cried Wolf events over the last 2 years. And I'm sorry, I can't I can't sit here and let her off the hook for it. That's the truth. Lynn Cat Lady says, "Any publicity is good publicity." You are not bullshitting. That lieutenant was the officer she made public safety director before the judge overturned it. Okay, interesting, Justin. So, and you're telling me he never heard those voicemails before? Why haven't the cops? If it was so threatening, why didn't the cops hear it before Jim Murdoch? Right? I mean, these are questions that I have, and I'm not going after Jim. Listen, Jim did this very unbiased. He did it exactly how you want a reporter to do it. I'm not going after Jim. Why did he hear it and bring it to the cops? I don't know. I think there has to be answered, right? Lynn said, "I was held hostage for a week at Brick by an ex-coworker who hit me. Channel 12 wouldn't come. The police barely helped me until they called at 2 a.m. And this is an extra for me. Phone calls for me. Isn't her boyfriend an officer? Why do you still not feel safe?" I mean, yeah, I don't think they confirmed that her boyfriend was an officer, but damn, I can't believe that happened to you. That's terrible. Ed Bannon says, Mortimer Wart. That was a fucking hard name to say. Mortimer Wortman. I can't even say it. Is the young fellow in Jackson that would miss. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm an asshole. Oh, I thought, here I am thinking I'm making fun of somebody else. Oh my God. This is why you don't do live shows. I'm going to get a drink. Oh, damn it. That was what it was about. Fuck. Here I was thinking I was kind of cracking on Jews. That's what you get. Listen, man, sometimes I'm not always the best, and damn, that's a terrible. Oh, so he's the young man that went missing in Jackson. That's right. Fuck. Yeah, damn. Okay, I'm a dick. I'm a dick for that. Do me a favor. Unlike, unfinger my like button. You have to hit it again. You unfinger. I get it if you want to if you want to unfinger me. But it is still a hard name to say. Honestly, it's So you could you go back and like my like button again. But that was it's terrible. My bad, man. Yeah, that was. I feel like a dick right now. I honestly do. Really feel like a dick. Personally, I would eat a bag of dicks outside of my office just to prove a point. right. Amen, Disco. You get it, right? That's how you show everybody that you're a fucking boss. Like, imagine if she got that bag of dicks mailed to her, and then because the mayor is going live anymore, right? If you ever notice that, she's doing videos, she's doing all these people are impersonating Chris Pollock, and she's doing the videos as well. But isn't that the boss move, right? To do a box opening. Like, hey, guys, I got this package. It's a mysterious package. We record it. Let's see what it is. It's a bag of dicks. And how boss would it have been if she opened up that bag, threw some dicks in her mouth, chewed them up, swallowed them, and say, Jackson, I can handle any dick thrown at me. That's why I'm running for mayor, right? All of a sudden, boom, you have a massive campaign advantage. You go in like a boss. You're not going in like a scared little woman. You're going in like a boss by putting dicks in your mouth. Not in a sexual way, but in like a I'm chewing on dicks way. You get what I'm saying? But that's the point. That is the point. That's the boss move. It's to eat them outside of your office on camera and say, keep sending them because they're delicious. I don't know who's running her campaign. I don't understand why you would release that you got a bag of dicks. I don't understand it. You're going to get flooded with dicks now. I don't get it. Whoever's running your campaign, you're really, 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 really bad. That you even released that. And I think Jim knew it was so ridiculous that he couldn't even put it on. He couldn't even put it on his 2 minutes that it was a bag of dicks. But that's what it was. So great point. I love it. Let's see. Anywhere else? 100% check bag of vaginas for Mike. Yeah, dude. Hey, listen, if anybody wants to send me a pussy hat as well, you guys could send me, honestly, anything you want. And if you want, you could also, shoot over to Zelle and send me some donation. If I bring you value, go ahead and pause this after I give you. It's Mike C at centercutmedia.com. We had a big donation. We have, King Kong Carlos, my man, King Kong Carlos comes in with $100 donation for Michael Calderis. He gave $100 donation. King Kong Carlos, I am investing that money. This is no bullshit. I am buying a t-shirt press, a hat press, and we are going to be doing t-shirts and stuff in-house. We're also going to have, a buy site that you could get miscellaneous shirts from, but we are going to do some of the mass stuff in-house that we could control everything, and we could put out stuff that we want to put out, and we can design how we want to design. So that's going to be put out. But King Kong Carlos comes up big for the Calderis. I really appreciate you guys. Last couple. Thomas Dickroll says, how about a cease and desist bag of dicks for everybody? I love it, man. I think sending bags of dicks is fucking funny. Guys, we have to stop taking ourselves so seriously. And what's better than getting a bag of dicks sent to you? I mean this. I hope somebody out there cares about me enough where I could get the bag of dick treatment. Really, if you want to send me confetti dick on my job site, let me know it's coming. I will record it, and we can have confetti dick all over. I'll get the fucking leaf blower. We'll have dicks going all over the neighborhood. It'll be great. And make them biodegradable so when they blow into the ocean or the waterways that they'll break down. I love it. Ed Bannon says she's also trying to blame the other party for setting this crap up. Interesting. Let's see. I understand what you're saying. It's all about the vote, not the morality of it. It's what it feels like. Yeah, I do get you. I do get you with that here. Oh, Lynn backs me up. I like that, Lynn. Thank you. She says you're not making fun of it. It's a tongue twister. It is definitely, dude, that was definitely a tongue twister. BJ, hopefully that brings some attention to his case. You know, someone is going to run with that. Someone is going to run with that. And listen, if anything I say could bring attention to his case, it reminds me of a story a buddy told me. And he goes, Mike, it was one of the worst moments of my life. He goes, I was waiting behind this bus, and it looked like a normal bus from where I was looking at it. I was behind it. And he's waiting and waiting, and he yells out, come on, what are you, fucking retarded? And then out comes a dude like with a wheelchair and someone pushing a wheelchair, and the guy looking at a wheelchair was just looking at him. And he goes, Mike, I cannot get lower in my car. And it made him like use they called it the R word, made him use the R word differently. But I kind of had one of those moments. Honestly. It was like where I spoke like a jerk off. And then let's see, last two for me made this. Trump was called trash and brought a fucking garbage truck. Have we not learned? Yeah, absolutely. Perfect analogy right there. They said he never worked at McDonald's, so he worked at McDonald's. Have we not learned? I love it. These are some of the most brilliant things that he did. And Lynn said, bag of dicks for you. All good. Calm down. Need to feel bad. I promise you, I will eat the bag of dicks 100%. And it's just overdone. What about all those that lost their lives providing emails like this and not getting the same response and assisting before murder? Yeah, man. You know what? It's a shame. It's a shame that these type of stories do get precedent, you know, but this is the stuff that those editors, and it's not the reporters, because the reporters I really do believe that there's some jerked off reporters. There's some good ones. I think Jim is an unbiased reporter that would do some hard hitting stories if the people that were above him that are going to actually air it would want to do it. I really do. That's just you know, my take on it. And Lynn popped in one more. I'll read it. The Maria Cianella case is screaming at me. It's wild. A lot of stigmatization. Anyone from her family, please put me in touch. I don't know who you're talking about. I'll look it up, or somebody send that to me. Any last things? Oh, have you seen this going around Jackson? While we're on Jackson, copycat ambulance, Morty Bernstein, council president. I said at the council meeting, untrained copycats. So you have, that's a shot. There's competing hostola. I don't know if you know that, but there's competing groups out there. And that was one of the competing groups. I love playing that. Did I leave anything out here, guys? Okay. Oh, let's hit this. Let's do one more. Wow, man, these shows are going long. I'll do one more. Here we go. Mini Bigfoot. 2 separate mini Bigfoot sightings are reported in an area of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, man, they have measles and Bigfoots. It's kind of interesting. Now, here it is. Ready? Their sightings are mini Bigfoots. There are 2 separate incidents that took place. The first encounter, which was reported by researcher Stan Gordon, okay? The witness Gordon reported that as she exited the building, she noticed a figure crouching behind trees approximately 60 feet away. And then she saw a second similar featured crouch near the first. She claims the first 2 figures jumped up and started running around as if they were playing. She watched them for several minutes, describing them as walking upright on 2 legs. Okay, the bodies were covered with straggly, medium-length, light brown hair, and neither appeared to have visible neck. Their heads seemed to rest directly on their shoulders. Their faces were darker brown than the rest of their bodies, and their eyes appeared round and dark brown. And finally, the witness, unfortunately, of course, didn't have her phone on her, but went to describe them as having slender arms reminding her of young children's arms and making noises that sounded like babies cooing. The encounter came to an end when she sneezed, and the 2 mini Bigfoots spotted her and ran home, and then she told her husband about it. And then the family dog was afraid to go outside after the incident, and she was awakened one night by a sound similar to the cooing she says that she heard. And her husband heard loud knocks the day of the sighting, but did not witness anything. So watch out, everybody. Keep an eye in Pennsylvania, not for just the measles, but mini Bigfoots. And finally, we have a former Texas high school teacher was arrested after probe into inappropriate student relationship. I want you to look at her. Okay? If she looks familiar, and this is not the same person, but am I the only one that sees Topanga as an older woman? Now, this is not whatever that actress's name is. That's not her. But that's like a Topanga, and Topanga was hot to me when I was a kid. Right? Boy Meets World. Yeah, right. Am I thinking about the same person? That looks like her. She's hot. We have a situation where these hot teachers are sleeping with kids. And women, you want to blame men for something. Men are going to bang you if you're hot. Even young men, even like young 14-year-old men are going to do it. But why is it you don't see men molesting girls like this? You don't see 25-year-old men teachers sleeping with 14. I mean, it's never in the news. Maybe I don't hear about it, but I've seen it's like a very weird uptick of very attractive 24 to 30-year-old women sleeping with kids. Is that, I'm going to make a joke here, but is that part of postpartum depression as well? I don't know if that's a symptom of it. Then I think we have to figure that out. I really do. And let's see, last couple. No, Topanga is still hot. Yeah, I mean, Topanga is still Danielle Fishel. Yes. Yeah, no, she's hot right now in real life. And I don't want to sound like that was her, but tell me that doesn't kind of look like her. She might even be a little more attractive. She got like a bigger smile and bigger lips. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yes, there is. You just don't hear about it. Okay, maybe I don't hear. No, listen, I bet there is. Because I know there's local stories. There's local lore of certain teachers in every town that bangs high school students. Every single town has the one teacher where it's like, that guy is a pedophile that nobody wants to talk about. I totally understand. I don't know why that happens, but I definitely totally get it. You don't hear about it again. And, and she says, I want some of those gummies. Hey, listen, if they're THC gummies, you could definitely send them my direction. If you get me THC gummy dicks, I will 100% eat them on camera. It's much interesting when it's the other way around. It's more shocking. I guess, yeah, I mean, when it's ugly ass teacher, bangs a student, I guess it's not as interesting as Topanga looking hot teacher bangs a student. But what are you going to do, guys? Hey, man, I think we have pretty much everything that I went through. We from mini Bigfoot all the way down. Do I have any Oh, let's end with this. This is a jelly roll penis joke on Trump that apparently has him in hot water. I don't get it. I don't get why everybody's so why everyone's so babied anymore. This is a funny joke, and we were talking about penis, so I thought it was fitting.
Well, Mr. President, from one fat pig to another, take it from me that physical fitness is very important. And trust me, you'll be happy to see your penis again. I do speak from a little bit of experience here, y'all. The first time I seen mine recently, I was surprised at how cute it was. It kind of looked like a little Labubu doll. You should not laugh that hard at my penis.
Why the fuck does a skinny jelly roll look like Rex Ryan? Doesn't he look like a tattooed up ass Rex Ryan? Like, oh, sorry, that's I saw this hit the wrong button, but he does look like a tattooed up Rex Ryan. And Lynn said, "Send more water." Yeah, I have plenty of water. My mouth gets dry talking as much as I do. I tell you that much. And we have some laughing at me. And the lady saw the mini Bigfoots. I want what she takes. You're not fucking crazy. There's a local Ocean County Votecular School story. I am a chubby guy with a weed whacker. I am on that. We're going to be talking about that most likely on Friday. I believe I am going to have there's more to come with that. Let's just put it that way. And thank you for reminding me. But that is something that is going to be coming very, very, very soon. I believe we can make that happen. I have something in the works with that. We just have to get a time where we could talk. I was on vacation, so it was like I was in and out of service and going from what we were doing and going back and forth. I go from downtime to non-downtime. And certain things just don't happen. But we do have a lot on that story, and I'm working on an interview for you guys. So if you can, stand by on that. But that's about it, guys. I really appreciate your time. Obviously, everybody's still here. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and figure the fuck out of my like button. I really appreciate you guys. I will be here on Friday. Hopefully, I start on time. If not, we've been going later anyway. But it's going to be around 8-ish Friday night. And, who knows what the show is going to be about. I haven't really put it together. We don't have anything to carry over from there. But you know how I do on Fridays. We always keep it fun. We always keep it light. And it's going to be something where you can pregame your weekend too. So I'll check you out right there. Remember, everybody, be a caltrop. I always tell you this over and over and over again. Be a caltrop. And being a caltrop is having the tough conversations, having some of the things that you don't want to hear, but you're listening to. And I appreciate a lot of you guys that you don't agree with everything that I say, yet you're still here having a dialogue to me. To me, that's what caltrops do. Caltrops do not agree. We don't agree. That's a fundamental principle to a caltrop. We are disagreeable. And that's what makes us special. And that's what's going to make us stronger when we come out of this, as we continue to grow our group and grow this movement, the caltrop fucking nation. It's something that I want legions of caltrops, and I want us in every single local government, and I want us exposing local government and understanding and asking the tough questions and being fearless in speaking out in defense of your own self. That's what a caltrop does. This caltrop's here for you. I'll be here for your Friday, but this caltrop is out. Later.